How do you unlock the keys to resilient faith and strength, even when you're on the front lines in business, when you're dealing with others in leadership? And we want to make sure that you are equipped. You want to be equipped too. Well, I've got a special guest. And as we continue this series talking about faith and putting on our crowns like we're supposed to, today we're on the front lines. That's right. We are out there doing what is necessary, overcoming every single challenge. And if you're looking for a pat answer, this is not the place for you. But we're going to talk about real issues when we're in business as well as in personal life. So go ahead and join me as we really pour some tea and talk about faith on the front line. Man, I love I had so many different illustrations that came to mind as you were talking. I love the olive tree. And you're right. I was thinking about the tea bag because we say until you get in hot water, you don't know what's on the inside, which reminds us that we have these treasures in earthen vessels. I absolutely love that we go through to show us who we really are.
Yeah.
In the middle of on the professional side, I was helping a lot of coaches, teaching a lot, working for a different company, actually creating a lot for them. And it was at a point where I was getting all these results for everybody else, but my business didn't look like the businesses I was helping them develop. And I remember asking the Lord, so, I said, what am I missing? Why am I getting this all for everybody else and I'm not seeing the same results?
Yeah.
And he woke me up the next morning because when you ask the Lord for a question, he's going to answer.
He's gonna answer
He's
it.
going to answer. I
Yeah.
didn't expect him to answer so quickly, but he did. And so what I got was because you don't realize the weight that you carry, which goes to that oil. I was sitting there going, I'm like, explain. Like, what do you mean? The response I got was, you think everybody can do what you do, and they can't.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will then ask the question, well, why do I have these crosses to bear? Just like the death, just like the divorce, all of those things that happened in my life. And it was like, you had that for somebody else.
Mhm.
That was the pressing that you're talking about. You
Yeah.
were pressed to go through these different situations and circumstances
Mhm.
in life because other people are going to be coming to you and they need what you developed during that time, during
Yeah.
that season. So
Mhm.
we don't recognize the weight that we carry. It is so easy to think, oh, everybody is logical like me,
Yeah.
or everyone can be as creative as I can be creative. And I talk about it because I do both sides, the standard is, oh, you're going to either be logical. Yep, the engineering degree. I'm a logical thinker. Or you can be creative. Oh, yes, I draw all the time, and I'm not like my daughter, who is an excellent creative officer, is what I call her for me, for my business. But, you know, I can still do that. The creativity comes out when you author a book. And I love the fact that you've written books. I've got some books as well. And they are from our struggles that we go through, or it's from the strategies that we want to help other people attain. We're not trying to keep it to ourselves. We're trying to say, here it is. Now, I know others will often say, I'm not going to share this with you. I'm not going to give this with you because, then you can run off with it. But we serve a creative God. We serve one who gives us more than we can even hold in our small heads. I'm going to say small heads because he can birth something in you. Like you give it away. Yes, it's your intellectual property, but it came from him. And he has unlimited ability to give us. So I don't hold anything back. I share and I'm like, okay, if you run with it, you run with it, but he's going to give me something else. So you're just copying what he's given me. Like I'm not going to even worry about that. Okay. So
Well,
the
don't worry about the people that take from you because as leaders, that's what you're supposed to do. Your people will imitate leaders, and you want to be imitated. You not really imitated, but you want to be a first. And if you give the information, it's we are called to advance the kingdom
that's
and
right.
advance people. So if I can help you to get in alignment, then it's
I'm
okay.
doing
You
my
can
job.
take it. You can take it, but people have to be very careful when they start just taking things or mimicking people, because that's not you. There again, that's a mask. And God is looking for you and your creativity of what He's given you in your spirit versus what somebody else. You can use what somebody says as inspiration,
Yes.
but if you try to just mimic and just take what other people do, then that's probably not going to work for you, because you don't carry that same oil. You don't carry the same prophetic, whatever God gave, it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be what it's supposed to be, even if you try to do it.
You
So
know
that's
what?
why I don't really care if anybody tries to mimic or do anything, because if God gave it to me, you can't do it like Milky Way. You can't do it like Royale Leads. You can't do it. You know what I mean?
Look, I was
So
being
it's all
triggered for a
good.
moment. I was like, you took me back to when I first started working in corporate America, and I created this software program, for the company I was working for. And I was not the senior engineer. I was new. The senior engineer took my information, took my cover off, put his name on. I was hot as all outdoors. Like, don't you ever do
Yeah.
that to me again. But in a meeting right afterwards, now he's presenting this. They asked him the questions. They asked him detailed questions that he could not answer.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's best that you do your own thing. You allow God to use you in the way that He wants. But I feel like we truly were faith in the fire under that. Okay, you be like half hood, half holy. That means pray with me, don't play with me. Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine you getting upset about that. I would have been mad too initially, and then you think about it. Hey, let him go and fall on his face, because it's not
And
his.
that's
And
exactly what
sometimes
happened.
people have to learn their own lessons. And
Yes.
so you let them learn their lessons, and I'm sure he learned his that day.
Look, I'm like 20 and I'm going, that was many, many years ago, but it just brought it back. Like, those are some of the lessons we learn through life. And you're right. I absolutely love it. Okay, I'm going to switch because you know what?
Okay.
That
I
faith in the fire is a lot.
It is a lot. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about your purpose. Oh, so how do you keep showing up in your purpose when life feels heavy or when the assignment doesn't look like what you expected?
For me, this is more of being on the front lines because it requires the leadership that we need to say that I know who God has called me to be. It might not look the way I want. And sometimes I'll say, I put one heavy foot in front of the other and keep moving,
Mhm.
because that's how, I guess that's where that resilience comes from. I'm not going
Mhm.
to give up. If I'm waking up every day, that means He still has something for me to do. And there's somebody
Mhm.
who is going to be able to benefit from it. So,
Mhm.
going through a divorce, my life doesn't look like what I thought it was going to. But when it does, you have to take a step back. I say, instead of asking why, I ask, what lesson am I supposed to learn from this?
Yes.
What am I missing? Help me ask better questions. Help me see the beauty inside all of that, because you promised that after the morning there's going to come dancing. I want to dance. And so, okay, Lord, it's a little dark right now. I know the light is coming. So, like I said in my prayer, I'm going to pray. I'm standing in tippy toe anticipation of what is yet to come. And
Mhm.
I mean that when I say it. There is the two-way communication that we have with the Lord that is so important. And
Mhm.
oftentimes we just want to ask Him, give me, give me, give me, and just request. Yes, we will adore Him, the Acts model that a lot of people will use. I'm gonna adore Him. Yes, He is a great God. He is a fantastic God. But good thing or bad things do happen to good people. And we
Yes.
say, well, how? Well, because of the fall. Okay, but why me? Why ask why me? Why not me? Instead, Lord, what do I need to do? In the middle of my daughter being in the hospital, the one that passed away, I remember specifically driving in the car, going to the hospital yet again. And I was like, okay, Lord, what is the answer to the question? Just give me A, B, C, D. If it's multiple
Mhm.
choice, I'll answer it. If it's fill in the
Mhm.
blank, tell me what I'm supposed to say so I can get through this. Okay.
Mhm.
But that's the way I communicate with the Lord. Everybody has to figure out how they do. He will
Yeah.
he will use birds and show me different birds, different colors, and I'm going, okay, I see a cardinal. I'm going to be very careful today. That's the way he works with me. I get dreams. Some people hear audibly, but you have to recognize how God communicates with you and be willing to be in that space. So his presence is really what gets me through any season in life. It can be as heavy or as light. I still need to hear his voice and know that I'm following the way he would want me to follow.
Yes, that obedience is very key to everything. And you touched on something that I absolutely love. You want to dance. And
Yes.
I want to dance through my purpose. I want to dance through my work. If I'm not dancing in it, it's not fulfilling. It's not making me where I can breathe. Who doesn't want to not breathe in their work and their assignment and what they have to do every single day? So yeah, that's amazing.
Let me ask you this on your purpose. You you talk about prophetic strategies. You
Mhm,
talk about moving with the spirit and
mhm.
recognizing who God has called you to be. But I know you also help other women do the same on your coaching side. I really want to delve into that confidence piece or the purpose piece with you. And I know you have the Crown Confidence Institute. I know that you're
Mhm.
working with women to help them get to their purpose. I do too, but I want you to tell us what you look for or what you say or what systems or plans that you have in place in order to assist them in finding out what that true purpose is.
Yeah, so the prophetic is something I've always dealt with. I was used to see things before it happened, like for my own life and for my children's life. And I didn't know exactly what I was experiencing until I started church faithfully when I was probably 19 or 20, and someone told me about the prophetic.
Mhm.
And I just now recently started owning that part of me. So the prophetic systems are how we turn a whisper into a win. And it's the structure that sustains the spirit's instructions. And if you think about it, going back to the Bible, 1 Corinthians 14:40, it says, let all things be done indecently and in order.
Mhm.
So that's where your systems come in.
Mhm.
And you have to work from a prophetic standpoint because of how fast the world is moving, and you want to bring the kingdom. The Bible says, let the kingdom come. You want the kingdom to come to earth.
Mhm.
And so you have to be able to operate in the prophetic in order to be obedient and to hear what God is saying to bring it to earth. And so for me, that looks like listening for revelation, documenting it, and designing it, and then delegating it. Um, so that's how I created the Playmakers method and the crowned NLP shift. They were created through heaven's blueprints for human transformation.
Mhm.
The universe doesn't just respond to vision, it responds to structure. So when we give God something stable to bless, miracles become measurable.
How many people really need to figure out their purpose? And when we ask the question, if we're following that blueprint, putting the structure in place that we should, documenting what was said, putting the structure in place in order to do business until he returns, like we're supposed to, then too many people are missing out on that. And my hope is that they will connect to say, yes, I want to make sure that I get this done. I know
Yes.
we both like crowns, and I got crowns all around me, always. And
I just met Mrs. America. She's the first Miss Georgia to win Miss America. So yeah, I'm in the pageant world. I love crowns. I have wearing my invisible crown right now. But I had a crown even before I started the pageant
right,
world.
right.
Mhm.
I love it. And we're both on this crown thing, and I have a crown framework for my on my business side, and it starts with character. C is the
Yeah.
character. And
Mhm.
God talks about we need to be people of integrity. And
Yes.
we talked about even on the leadership side and on the inner circle side, we mentioned the fact that they have to have the right value system to be able to match with us, but we have to have our own character. Um,
Yes.
the other thing, one of the other things that, and I'm not going to go through the framework, but what I recognize when it comes to purpose is I say you need to be divinely aligned. We identify what God has called us to do, whether it's we're looking at the Corinthians 13, hey, what are my spiritual gifts? Look at Romans 13, what are my motivational gifts? Even look at first in Ephesians chapter number 4, what are my ministerial gifts? What are my natural gifts and talents? What can I do? So we go through this whole list of what has God given me, because he has handed me so much. So we start there, and then we say, okay, now how has that been developed? What can it be used for kingdom impact? Which then goes to the R, which is my reign. What is my metron? Who are the people I'm supposed to serve? Where am I supposed to be in dominion and dominate? Because he created us for that. But then you go to the organization. That's that structure. Because if you don't have structure in place, like you said, decently and in order, all right, God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. And he's
Yeah.
going to make sure that it works. So I love what you have there, girl. Yes, faith in the field. We are working and we are doing it like we're supposed to.
For so many of us who wear multiple hats,
Mm-hmm.
business, ministry, motherhood, what helps you find clarity and peace in the middle of it all?
Really getting back to God, what do you want me to do in this season?
Mhm.
That's the simple answer. Because it is difficult, and we just have to just be honest with it. It is difficult when you are multi-gifted, multi-talented, because the world tells you, hey, pick just one thing. And it works for most people,
Yeah,
but it doesn't work for everybody. So
it doesn't.
me jumping into the coaching, I mean, I came from corporate America. All right. I know what I was doing. You rise to the top. I always say cream rises to the top. Then I switched into ministry. So I'm teaching and I'm creating curriculum. I'm doing all of those things and I'm loving both. But
Mhm.
I am multifaceted.
Mhm.
I believe women in general, we are multifaceted. We're going to have a
Mhm.
personal life and we're going to have a professional life,
Mhm.
right? And so I help on both sides for my women. So I've got my sister's place when women are going through, they're transitioning, because I want them to be the best versions of themselves. But they've got to know that they've got to pour into themselves. They have to have the worth. I said, know your worth and then add tax, because you need to know how valuable you are,
Yes.
right? But then
Yeah.
on the professional side, yes, I've got business builders, I've got queenpreneurs, I've got those things because they're trying to build their business. But I
Yeah.
don't want them to think that no one hears them when they're having a moment,
Yeah.
when things are not going well. We can have a multi-million-dollar business and then feel like this small because
Mhm.
somebody in leadership said something that really did not resonate with our spirit but vexed us. And we just need a moment. Let me say, this is not who I am. Let me tell you, because I didn't clap back like I probably should have because I was in a professional environment. But how do I write this email to get my point across? And so we bring our emotions, we bring our creativity, we bring our ingenuity, we bring, if we manage the home, we can manage in the workplace. And
Mhm.
so we bring all of that in together and we say, I see you, I value who you are. But I'm asking you, and when we turn around, we ask the Lord, I'm asking you, Lord, what do you really want me to do? Who do
Mhm.
you want me to serve?
Mhm.
Then we get back to the dancing all over again because I'm having a great time. People look and they say, oh, well, you don't look your age. No, I don't look my age. I don't look like what I've been through either. But at the
Yeah.
same time, when we talk retirement, I think it's repurposing the plan. Not I'm giving up, not I'm done. I can't see myself not empowering women to be the best versions of themselves, whether it's on the personal side or on the professional side. I can't see myself. But when I wrote my vision, and we've written our 20-year vision plan, but when I wrote
Mhm.
mine, I was like, I want to be in a position where I can pour out wisdom to others, training them so that they can then train others. I don't ever
Mhm.
see that stopping.
Yeah, because that's something you were born to do.
Yeah,
You were cultivated for it. That's your God ordained assignment.
yeah.
So yeah, that's why you can't see nothing else. And it's so good that you reached that because most people don't reach that in their lifetime.
Mm.
So we're here to help them reach it. Both of us as coaches and mentors, and we help people to actually get on their purpose and to find their assignment beyond all the roles, all the many roles that we play, and all the noise that we hear in our mind. If we just sit still and let the Lord talk to us and just have someone to help us decipher through some of that stuff that we've
Yes,
dealt with, it does the world of good. And then you have a coach that can kind of take you for or teach you a skill and take you from where you are to where you want to be.
yes.
um, is very good. So I'm
I
sure.
love the coaching side of it because we get to ask questions that are apparent to us that are not apparent to you. You know,
Yeah.
like to help you see yourself because self-awareness is that first key to starting
Mhm.
to move forward. So I love it.
Yes, yes, I love it too. I can go on and on about coaching. I absolutely think that is very vital. I don't like the counseling side.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to counsel to coach, but I do love the coaching because I like to see people transformed and moving in the direction that they're called to be in.
No, you're right. One of my degrees is in Christian counseling, but the coaching side I like better because you get the implementation, you give the action-oriented steps for them to see the transformation. And I
Mhm.
remember, and I think this is probably germane to a whole lot of people. I remember having a one-on-one session with a female Christian entrepreneur, a queenpreneur as I call her,
Mhm.
and she did not see her true value. We have problems in what do I charge as far as pricing? And people are going, oh, well, I can't charge that. And, you know, the engineering side of me comes out and says, okay, how much are you charging? How often are you working with them? How many hours are you putting in? Now, one, you've had other people that paid you on the outside to do this at a certain amount. But do you recognize when we do the numbers, the math ain't mathing? you know,
Yeah.
it's like you're working for pennies. You're
Mhm.
worth more than that.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it that she came back and she said, you changed my whole mindset in one session.
Wow.
Recognize who I am,
Hmm.
you know? And we do have that trepidation. I don't want to charge. No, you know, you charge the value that you bring. Now, if you don't have value, and I know you and I are probably going to be on the same page, if you don't know what you're doing, sit down, stop being these so called experts that have no experience, no expertise, no skill. It's not fair because then others are being cynical and they're saying, I'm not going to do this again because you sold them pipe dreams, if you would.
Hmm.
Go learn it and then be a person of excellence. They call me the performance excellence coach at one point. Like, no, because Colossians 3:23 is my scripture. Okay, whatever you do it with all of your heart,
For
as
the
unto the
Lord,
Lord,
yes.
not to man. Like, come on, God's looking. You know.
I
Anyway,
love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very important that we know our worth and our value. And part of that comes from self worth and seeing yourself as valuable and knowing that you've actually overcome something that is valuable that you can teach to someone else. And all of us do have value. We just have to be able to find our value. Like I said, it's buried in there because we all go through stuff. Life be life in. And so God has a set number of people that He has designed for each one of us to impact. And we just have to find our tribe and really be able to sit with ourselves long enough to find that value of what you carry and how you can give it back to the world, because God doesn't make any junk, and He made each one of us, and He gave us all giftings and anointings and influence. And we just have to get with someone, a coach or a mentor, or even a good friend that can help you to find what you can give, because sometimes the systems are broken in this world. And a lot of times we go to the systems to get validation and to find our self-worth. We go to school to get validation and self-worth, and then we graduate thinking that we're going to get validation and self-worth once we get out there in corporate America. But it all comes from within, and you've got to believe that you have something to offer, and you have to really understand that time is something you will never get back. So if you are just lowballing yourself and not valuing your time, then you're going to say, hey, I'm not going to charge that much. But every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And so if you think about, if you have children, if I don't know, a life, if you're saying yes to actually helping someone or developing something, and you're lowballing yourself, then it's devaluing also the people that's in your life. Because I think about my daughter, I would rather be with my daughter every minute of the day. But if I decide I want to coach you, then I'm taking time from my family or something that I love to do to coach you. And my time is valuable, as well as my education, bachelor's in psychology, 2 master's degrees, and then a specialist in curriculum. And I'm now getting my doctorate. And I've mentored teachers for almost 12 years. And I was a teacher for 17 years, dealing with people. And then now, coaching. So I'm not really trying to toot my horn. I'm just letting you know how, when you think about it as a collective, you have to put all of that into effect, and everybody has something to give. So even if you didn't go to college, you still are very valuable, and you must charge for your value.
I love that because you said, one, look at the experience, the things that you've gone through, because that adds value. Two, look at what you've already paid for, the skills you've developed, whether it was college or certifications or what have you. Those things do cost. And when you add that up, that's one way to look at it. To say,
Yeah, definitely.
yes, I love
Mhm.
that. It's not just one sided, it's experience and expertise. It's
And then
both.
yes, and then you look at what I know for me, I have already purchased or gotten a mentor myself. I've gotten coaching myself.
Right.
So with all of that totality, I have a lot. When I give you access to me, I'm giving you access to a vault of information, things that's going to really transform your life and take you to another level. So I can't just give over everything that I am for free. And that's what people have to realize. They got to really take stock.
Mhm.
Like, okay, I've gone through this, and this, and I've done this, and this. If I give you this for pennies, then I'm not valuing myself, and I'm not valuing what I've gone through. And like you said about the men with the talents, with the one talent, he went and buried his talent because he said, hey, well, I didn't work for this talent. But it was a gift. It was something God had given him. He didn't work for it. He didn't think he should have brought a profit. But that's just not how our God works. And I think sometimes people don't know God. You know, I'm not saying I know God, because every day I'm learning God. But I don't think that people want a fraction of who God is. They don't really want the totality of who he is, because our God, he is a God. In the beginning, if you did anything, you were out of here. You were stoned. You were
Old Testament, right?
yes. He did not play with you. Okay, and so when it comes to actually God and the giftings and giving back and profit, God wants you to show up and give, and he wants a return on his investment. And that means showing up and living the life so that you can show somebody how to live that abundant life. Jesus came that we may have life and life more abundantly. But if you don't show that manifestation and you lowballing yourself, and you got somebody over here like President Trump that's, and I hate to bring him up, but they said he sold tickets for $1 million per ticket. I mean, so you know, if
There are a
you,
lot. Look, there are a lot of presidents when they get out of office. I mean, if you want to hire them, you paying some big bucks.
I'm saying, yeah, so the
Yeah.
money, things are resources and things are out so that you won't lowball yourself. You just have to believe in who you are. That's all I'm saying. And
I
I
love
don't want
that.
to break this down or make it a money thing, even though we really do need to talk about money, because I think people shy away from money,
Mm. Yeah, they
especially
do.
in the church world.
Yes. We don't want to invest in ourselves. We want everything to be free. But if you look at it, and I always say people who pay attention. I don't want to give away the value, the oil that I have from the great God that I serve, that thought it not robbery to give me those opportunities. I don't want to just give that away to somebody and then they don't do anything with it. They don't show up. They don't participate. And that's disheartening because I'm a giver. I love giving. But you're absolutely right. When those presidents come out of office, and we're not just talking about the president, anybody, because you can put yourself in that position. If you come out and have gone through something, your agitation should turn to compensation. And if you
Yeah,
look at it from that standpoint of, I have experienced this, I have gone through, and I can get you there faster, get you there stronger, get you there wiser, and save you time, effort, energy, because I've got a system for you. You ought to pay for that.
you ought to pay for it. But what I was saying is, a lot of times we think in scarcity
Yeah.
when it's an abundant world. So that's why I brought up the $1 million ticket,
Yeah.
because it's a
Let's
lot of
sell a
people.
$1 million ticket, Royale.
Yes, let's do it.
Do
Look,
that.
let me tell you, because it was a lot of people in that place. So
A
it lets
lot
you
of
know
millions running
that
around.
yes, the money is still hanging around. It's just who has it. And so we have to rise up, know who we are. And my blessings come from the Lord,
Amen.
and he's my source.
Yeah.
So when I believe that I have access and I can get those millions, that's it will show up. It shows up. It's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we have to really start embodying.
Yeah, I love that because we do have to have this abundant mindset. And we're not saying it's all about the money, but look at what we can do with the funds. When we have it, we can be more generous. We can participate locally. We can allow the kingdom of God to come because even when we look at God's economy, if I'm the giver and I tell you it came from God, you're going to praise God because I gave you the gift. I'm going to praise him because he allowed me the opportunity. And we both are praising him because of what was given. So we're going back to the gift giver. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, God has his economy already set up. It's a nice system. He's going to give to us, we give to others. They then turn around and glorify him. And it just keeps working. And we have to recognize that the world that we live in runs on funds. You can't live without having money. You need that resource. And so that resource, we can then turn around and leave a legacy. I always quote it, a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for their children's children. I'm making sure my estate plan is already set. I want you to then create legacy. And so that's part of my program too, is the legacy that you're building is faith, finances, legacy, all of that is included. So
I'm just now learning how to create boundaries for everything that I do. I used to be like, I show up around people and I would just give nuggets. I would just tell people stuff. Like if I saw someone hurting or if I needed to share something, somebody asked me a question, I would just give it to them.
okay.
And the Lord told me one day, I was sitting there listening to him as I do every single day, because our prayer is not just you talking to God, it's you listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I overheard him say, stop giving away information.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I had to put a boundary there. And so when people ask me to do stuff, now I have to send out a link. I send out an invitation. I see how serious they are, because you're going to put your treasure in what you love and what you're really serious about. And you have to make an investment in yourself when you're serious about it. And so I'm following the blueprint of God when I send you the link. I used to help people write books for free. And we would get to the end and people would be like, not caring about what they just wrote. And so I don't put all this energy and time into it. And they don't care. They don't want to even publish their book.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, they don't want to go through the process because it's hard. It's discipline writing a book to
Right.
publish it and doing all the steps. By the time you get finished writing the book, you just want it out. You like, get this book.
Like, let me birth this thing.
And
Yes,
so
it is
I
giving birth. So, yeah.
just giving birth. And so I used to help people for free. And then I realized I'm not doing this because God told me to stop. He literally said, stop. This is your time. This is your energy. This is your IP.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you have to give to other people. It's legacy. Because when you write a book, you don't never know when your time is up.
Correct.
But when you write a book, it's your voice lasting through
I
generations.
love it.
So the impact of writing a book is more than any money that you can actually give a person. And if you get it right, if you write the right story, which that's what I help people do, write the right story. You know, we want to sit in our pain
Mhm. Yeah.
instead of standing on it. So I help them stand on their pain and move to purpose. So when we start doing that, then we're creating legacy. I had to put the boundary there. Say, hey, here's my
I love,
link.
okay,
Here's my
I'm being
website.
convicted. I'm
I love
being
you.
convicted. I'm just telling you because I will give the framework, and depending on who it is that I know, it's like, oh, I know you. Well, let me just tell you some of the things that you're going to need to do. And so I am giving a lot away for free, but you're right. Send the link.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm giving a nugget right now.
Yes,
We've
yes.
given a lot of nuggets
We're
right
giving a
now.
lot of nuggets.
Send the link.
Send the link. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, send the link.
yeah,
The point is, one, you want to show that you know what you're talking about, but within limits. That's why I think the boundaries come in place. I can let you know that I know what I'm doing and what I'm talking about, but if you want more, you don't get free access to me. Typically, I would do like a one session, a Destiny Accelerator strategy call. Okay, 30 minutes. I will talk to you, find out what you're doing, where you're going, and make a suggestion if it is going to be appropriate. But you don't get that free call every month.
right.
You get one of those. And then it's like, okay, now you need to pay for it. And I really have had friends, hopefully nobody listening, but I've had some friends that would, you know, test the boundary, if you would. And I would send an email back, hey, you've already done one of these. you can pay for it now or something like that. And it's like, oh, but you're my friend. No, 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 no. You can't do that. That is not fair. That is not just cheating the system, but that is cheating the value that I bring to the table. Don't use me. We as women in places have allowed ourselves to be used. We have to put boundaries in place. We have to recognize red flags. We have to recognize cycles. We have to recognize that we need to break some of those things so that we can then be more successful, more purpose driven, paying attention to our destiny and not just drifting through life, but recognizing that there are those who are going to be pouring back into us so that we can pour more out to the ones that God has called us to. So send the link. That's what we're going to do. We're going to say, send the link.
Like, yes, I would love to help you a little bit more, but I'll send you my link. Just plain and simple. That's what you can do. If
I love that.
you have your own business, you make sure you send them the link. And then that way you're creating a boundary there. You're letting people know, and you're actually deciding who's serious and who's not.
Exactly.
Because sometimes people will want your services and then they're not really serious, but then they'll come to you and they'll drain everything from you. But if you send that link and they actually pay for it, they're serious. But some people, they'll look at that link and be like, oh no, I'm not paying for this. And so, hey, you go ahead and you find out who's really serious
Really serious.
in the beginning.
I love it. I used to say that I'm a recovering Epaphrodites woman.
Okay.
Epaphrodites in the Bible in Philippians chapter number 2, Paul said he was nigh unto death for the slack of others.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's not going to be my life. I don't want them at my graveside going, oh, she worked herself to death. Because that's exactly what some people will do. And it's like, got to put the boundaries. I'm recovering because that's where I used to be all the time. I'm going to give, 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 give. And, Lord, you're just going to bless me. I know what's coming back. And he does. But at the same time, we need to be wiser with what we do. So I like that. And it's not a nasty way of doing it. It's, hey, I've helped you a little bit, but now you're asking more questions. I can help you better inside the container of the structure that I've already built. And I'd love for you to be a part of it. Here's the link.
That's right. There you go.
I thank you so much, Royale, for sharing with us today. I am blessed. I am so blessed. So, Crowned Confidence Institute.com.
Yeah, you live as a brand and you die as an institution. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but if I go, I have my
institute will be there.
The institution will be there. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So connect crownconfidenceinstitute.com, or for me, ChontaHaynes.com, ChontaHaynes. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. And you have a beautiful rest of your day. God bless.
You too. God bless you. Thank you.